everybody. Thanks for watching. My name is Chris, and I'm with Jim McCormick, and we're here to preview the weekend. We're going to talk about Week 8 from the NFL and preview the, I guess not entirely the weekend, Thursday, as well as the rest of the NFL weekend. We'll make some picks against the spread. We'll talk about how we think the games might go, and it's a week with no bye weeks, so we have 16 games to get to. We're going to go as quickly as we can, and we'll also hopefully make a bunch of jokes that will make you laugh. So, Jim, we stunk last week. There's the first joke. I was 3-8. You were 5-8. I'm now below Mount 500. And Dave Pyper was telling me that he'd won against the spread 3 straight double-digit win weeks, and he came in last week and he was like, I'm all over this thing, and he went 3-10. So it was not what you want, really, as far as performance goes. It's not
well,
great.
to reference Dave's own baby, silliest thing I saw this week was us picking games. So
yeah,
right.
Silliest thing, and our best bets didn't work out. I was mad at Tampa. You were mad at Arizona.
I mean, can I just bring up the fact that we nominated 2 of the lowest win total teams of the year? Like just to go. So go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, Tampa had been all right. So we want to applaud everybody, because last week I was getting very angry at everybody for not, I mean, really angry. You could see the veins in my forehead about not posting. And man, we got a ton of comments. That was awesome. And so by the end of this show, we want everybody watching. Everybody, there are thousands of people watch the show. Post your best bet. Post your best bet of the week. Last week's was Night Fiend 47. That's our random winner of the person who he picked.
I believe I know him, but it's just
this is gonna hurt. So. This is gonna hurt, Jim. But he picked the Ravens. And that hurts double for you because we both got it wrong. We both picked the Lions like easily. We're like, no problem. Stupid line, bad line, and they get slaughtered. And then also Mark Andrews, who you determined was the worst player in the league. He kind of had a good game, so that didn't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm also emotionally hedging because he's my driving force in large.
That's right.
Yeah, it's one of these things where I can be. I think if anybody's watched the show before, I can be duplicitous. I can provide analysis here and then live over here. I'm a little bit of on the frog. I said frog. So I'm out of here. So go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get started previewing these games. Let's talk about the Thursday night game, because when Tom Brady played in Tampa, this looked like a good matchup, but that isn't the case any longer. The Buccaneers are going to. No, he doesn't. The Buccaneers are going to Buffalo, and that was a pretty bad performance by Tampa last week.
Yeah, it was.
And I would be tempted to say it was the worst performance of the 2 teams playing in this game, except the very stupid Bills decided that not only would they not cover in New England against the very terrible Patriots, but they would lose outright. So we've got 2 teams, I would say probably fair to say reeling. I think how you lean in this game, like we know what Tampa is. We know what Baker Mayfield is. How you lean as to how you think this game is going to go is very much about what you think of Buffalo and really them falling on hard times. Maybe they should have a losing record. Had the Giants done a little better at the end of the half, like what's up with the Bills?
I don't know. Honestly, well, first of all, I'll say this. The McDermott system relied so much on like linebacker movement, just like this Tampa system, except like they lost, their last linebacker to free agency. Milano's out for the year. Their top corner's out for the year. They had this top-heavy defense, And we've seen Patriots defense in years prior, or maybe every NFL defense be this way, where, like, for example, like Miami's missing Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard's out last week. Like, it's somehow troublesome when you're losing top players. I think that's exactly what's happening. And particularly, they've committed to, like, linemen in Buffalo, like Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau. And, like, guys who, like, just, like, they continue to bet on them because they're kind of pot committed. Because how can they, like, reinvent it when they're paying so much money to, like, what I meant was their cheap quarterback process, like, is over. Like that reinvestment process is over. They've kind of failed to do that. I think that Buffalo's defense isn't as good as it should be.
Sure, it's fair, but that doesn't really explain the offense.
Well, the offense is...
Could this be as simple on offense as just you've missed on every other weapon other than Stephon Diggs? That exactly. Everybody... I mean, Josh Allen's great, but every other weapon is just kind of crappy. Like, Gabe Davis is kind of crappy. James Cook is kind of crappy. Like, they're not terrible players.
Yeah. No, and then they have this like two tight end set obsession, right? And then they lose Dawson
Well,
Knox
they lose the
last
tight
week
end,
to
yeah.
a wrist surgery. So I guess what I meant was they've in general like they've missed. I think the overall like thematic thing is they missed their window to like load up when they had the cheap quarterback. And I'm an
All right.
Eagles fan,
I
so
mean,
I'll use this example. But like we
it's
did good at
fine.
that.
I mean, it's fair, but I'll say, you know, you're paying Stephon Diggs, and you could have gotten DeAndre Hopkins, and you could, like there's
No,
things you could have done, So what?
that's what I'm
All right, let
saying.
me
They
put it this way:
failed.
should this team coming off of that loss against anyone in the league be an 8.5-point favorite?
No, no. I have them as a 7-point favorite on the road here.
I had them as an 8-point favorite, so like I don't want to throw. Jim, you're not going to believe how many of these games when I picked the line, I was either right on the line or a half point off. This is going to be a disaster, by the way. When we pick
Dave, you know what that's called? The escape clause.
Like, but that's the push. That's the push. But I've got some half points.
Dave, can you do some sort of graphic, like a high-end graphic where it just disappears?
Right. Yeah. Just whip that up, Dave, please. That'd be great. So we're both on the Buccaneers, and I don't feel good about it at all because Baker Mayfield is not good. But I think the right side here is the Buccaneers. All right. So we're on to the main slate. It's not a home game for anybody when the Giants play the Jets, but they play on terrible turf. So we'll have 3 torn ACLs. We know that. The over/under torn ACLs 2.5. Go over.
It looks terrible on TV too, by the way. It does.
Yeah, why don't you just pay for grass, man? Like you have a lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money. So the Giants, like they come off the win against the Bills. I felt really confident as the home dog against the Commanders, and they, it wasn't easy. It was only 14-7, but like they felt like had control of that game. So I feel like they're on the upswing a little bit, but probably not on the upswing like the Jets have been. And a week off to get Breece Hall potentially healthier. Zach Wilson is always going to be a constraining factor, but who do the Giants have at quarterback? How do you feel about the New York versus New York Civil War here?
It almost feels like if I knew that Tyrod Taylor was starting, I'd feel better about the Giants.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. Yeah. But like, listen, like I hate to say like 1-game samples, they're terrible. Like 9 yards per attempt. More importantly, like didn't make massive mistakes. I think that's what it's about.
It's a 2-game sample. He played against Buffalo too. I mean, they've been more competent, but they've probably had
was like good. Yeah. So,
they've had better offensive line play, and that's the problem. They were the worst team in the league in the first like 5 games of the year, and they've gotten better offensive line play. Remember that Seattle Monday night game? Oh my God.
Do quarterbacks have any kind of influence with that? What I mean by that is like staying in their pocket or staying disciplined. I don't know. It's a question. So I think that like Daniel Jones's like spazziness is also an issue. Like his ability to like make them stressed out. Like it's kind of crazy. I've worked in many jobs. I think you have too. When your manager is like not that confident, it gets weird, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So what I'm trying to say is that can
Did we ever work at the same place? I'm trying
to never. So what I'm trying to say is that can influence outcomes. My point is that I'm more comfortable taking the Giants in this situation because I continue to think that like first of all I think Tyrod's going to start this week, so that's what I'm hedging on, and I'm going to go with that.
So it's I didn't say the line of this game, but in a neutral site game it's -3 Jets. Yeah. And I guessed -3 Jets, so this is one of my. You can slap up the graphic that you're never going to make, Dave. It's one of my pushes.
This is where it disappears, Dave. He disappears right here. Just background.
But I feel like it's unfair to Daniel Jones what we're saying, but I kind of just agree. I just kind of agree with you. Like Tyrod has gotten better offensive line play than Daniel Jones has gotten. You can't really argue it. Just true. And yet I still feel like just play Tyrod.
And the blitz is better. Like they're doing things on the other side that are better. Yeah. So,
and Barkley's back. Like, they start playing.
Weird. Also, wait. Does Barkley run to the bench every couple plays and we don't know what's happening? I just want to throw that out there. Like Saquon Barkley. Saquon. I want to say it and I feel like, yeah, Saquon. He runs to the. He feels like he's injured or feels like he's sitting on a bench every couple plays.
He hurt his arm or shoulder in the first quarter of that game, like getting slammed out of bounds. But after that, he was okay.
But they made it seem like he was dead. They were like, he can't control his arm.
I know. Well, he can't control his arm. That's the
It was like a little bit of a. It was a little bit 70s football coverage. It was like, this man has lost his ability.
That was Philly Howard Cosell right there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's Philly Howard
Cosell
Cosell.
from Philly, so I feel with it. So yeah.
Jags. They.
The Wires is what you mean.
They're the Wires, and they decided that they would go to New Orleans and blow doors.
Yeah,
and
what happened there?
And then close the doors and allow New Orleans to come back, which was not great as far as we were concerned. But they did win, and they're going to Pittsburgh, and the Steelers are a 2.5-point home dog after their second straight win. Where, dude, I have no idea how they win these games.
I can't read them.
The Ravens game and the Rams game, they stunk in both of those games.
How did they beat the Ravens, by the way? like the Ravens last week looked like a juggernaut.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, I mean, they're dead in that Rams game last week. They're dead. Yes. There's something to this Mike Tomlin thing, dude. He talks in a lot of cliches, and he doesn't really sound any. He doesn't sound any different than any other coaches. He sounds like he talks the same.
No, he sounds different. Have you heard the new one? He said, "My guys don't take their eyes off the prize. It's like they don't have eyelids." So I wrote Denny Carter. I said it's like that. So now imagine a coaching staff with Mike Tomlin and Dan Campbell. You're biting kneecaps and you have no eyelids. Like it's officially Halloween. Like
anatomically difficult. Anyway, I understand. I understand where this line is coming from.
Yeah.
I understand why the Jags would be favored. I just am kind of nervous now about the Steelers.
So again, every once in a while I bring the Vegas zone where this line, I had this at -4 Jaguars.
For Jags. Okay.
Yeah, Jaguars. Yes, I was full wires. I'm an electrician, okay? First of all, most electricians in Philadelphia have a ladder on their truck. Half of the people in Philadelphia have a ladder on their truck. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't make sense. Like, they're not even contractors. It must be a zoning thing. I don't know. Either way, my point is I am going to give the points because I don't trust Kenny Pickett, and I actually like this pass rush. The other Josh Allen. I still think they're okay. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about the Pittsburgh pass rush, though? Like, pretty good, too.
They're incredible. Yeah. But I also think,
I'm taking the points. I'm going to take the home dog, 2.5.
Yeah. Not crazy. Not crazy at all.
I don't feel great about it. I think the Jags are probably a little bit better team on a neutral field, but this is telling you it's like a 4 or 5, like maybe like a 5-point.
You asked us who's the best unit? Who's the best unit in the game? You asked that a lot, which I like.
The best unit in the game, I don't really think I have an answer to.
It might be.
I know who the worst
defense,
unit.
Right? So
I know who the worst unit is.
It was that.
That's what I'll say. It's the Kenny Pickett is the worst unit.
Oh, double gloves.
He probably has. He probably has the worst unit in general. Anyway, what? Eagles. They covered for me last week when you doubted them. And they're now going to go rematch the Commanders. And last time we saw this game, Sam Howell looked like Lovey Howell. No, he looked good.
Russell Wilson. Yeah, he looked good Russell Wilson. Yeah,
he looked good and made it really close and had a chance to win at the end. And I don't know. You obviously were scared to death of the Eagles last week. Does this game scare you?
No, I mean I'm back. But like, here's the thing. Jalen Carter just looks like a jujitsu, like a Kung Fu Panda. Like that's the best. He's Kung Fu Panda. Like he's a jujitsu artist. He like makes people miss. It looks like he's throwing air mattresses around. It's not cool. It's not cool. It looks like he's at war with air mattresses. That's a great thing. More importantly, Hassan, Kevin Byard. Come on, guys. Like, does anybody know what just happened? We added Kevin Byard.
I do. Yeah, Kevin Byard's really good.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah. And so what I'm saying is, Sam Howell that last time got all this magician stuff done. I don't think it's going to happen again. More importantly, the Commanders are losing a little bit of faith, I think, in their system. You can see it. They're getting away from the run earlier. They're not sticking with who they are. And more importantly, they're letting him, Sam Howell is only good when he plays Denver. So he's not playing Denver this week. So
he was good when he played the Eagles. He kind of took the Eagles behind the woodshed in the second half of that game.
Mm.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I choose to forget that game. So
I'm on the same side here. It's another one where I'm half point off though. This line is Eagles 6.5 point favorite on the road. That is an I think the smart gambling side here is actually the Commanders side, because that's an outlandish number of points for a division rivalry where they just played and it was
right.
very, very close game. But yeah, I guessed it at 7 and it's at 6.5, and that's where I am on it as well. And it hasn't been a bad idea to be on the Eagles here.
Imagine if Bryce Harper plays for the Eagles this week too, like the Washington.
That would be incredible.
Angle. Yeah,
he would probably get his
he get killed.
He'd get his face caved in 1 second.
Yeah.
Baseball players.
Yeah.
But not tough. They act tough.
Just want to throw it out there. Yeah,
not tough. We're going to get back to the game. We'll get back to the games in a second. Let's thank DraftKings for sponsoring the show, as they do every single week. Without them, we wouldn't have a show. And so if you like the show and you've never downloaded the DraftKings app, if you'd like to, we would love it if you would. We're certainly not asking you to bet a lot. I mean, you don't have to bet at all if you don't want to, but like, if you're going to bet, please bet $5, $10 a game. Don't go crazy. This is meant to just be fun, but it is fun. And if you have a game that's on TV in your area and you don't really have a lot of rooting interest, trust me, you put $5 down, suddenly you're a raving lunatic, or at least I am. And so if you do wind up getting that app, please sign up using the code HarrisTube, all one word. If you do that, then you make one $5 bet. They'll put $200 in bonus bets into your account instantly, and then you can spread it around and play some props and play some other games, and it's kind of just fun. Of course, you got to live in one of the Magic States, which Jim does and Dave does and I don't, but either way, we would love it if you'd use that code HarrisTube. Get those $200 in bonus bets instantly with one $5 bet. Thank you so much to DraftKings for sponsoring. All right, we're continuing on with the early games on Sunday. We have I would have thought this would have been a late game. It's Rams Cowboys, which is sort of an LA team, big market.
Marquee, yeah.
Cowboys kind of a thing. I would have expected it to be like a Monday night game, but it's an early window game on Sunday. The Rams, again, we just talked about the Steelers. I don't understand how the Rams lost that game.
It was Puka action. Puka.
I mean, Puka was great, right? Cooper Kupp dropped a couple of passes. Anyway, they go to Dallas. It may be for the best, because if they were playing Dallas in LA, we saw what that was like when the Cowboys were playing the Chargers. We saw what that was like in the same stadium. So this is in Dallas, and the Cowboys are 6.5 point favorites. We talk about styles make fights. What is the Cowboys' offense style?
They want to run. It's
they
Mike
give
McCarthy.
up on it quick. Yeah.
Yes, and then they pepper these small A-dot plays. Again, it's Mike McCarthy at a buffet where he's just like, I'm going to eat a bunch of General Tso's chicken. And it's like, that's the worst choice, okay? Like, but seriously, so the way thing is, like, I don't think they're nearly as daring enough as they should be with the weapons they have. Like, they have, CeeDee Lamb, who can win downfield. Like, what's the entire point of having these players if you're gonna throw like 7 yards downfield?
Okay, I mean, fair, and that's a lot of people are latching onto that as a difference from Kellen Moore, right, as the offensive coordinator.
Sure.
What if I put the same question to you that I did with the Bills? What if, like, I think Tony Pollard's a really good player, so this isn't really fair. I think Pollard and CeeDee Lamb are both really good players.
But he might not be the guy we thought he was. Is that fair too? Like,
yeah, in a way that I don't think James Cook is, but Is it there's no other receivers there. There's no other receivers there I like. And so you're saying all these weapons, and I go, yeah, it's Brandon Cooks, and he's like 73 years old, and his tailbone hurts, Like,
who's the other guy? Michael
Gallup.
Gallup. He can't gallop. I just want to say.
It's a misnomer. We call that a misnomer. Anyway, I mean, that style is going to keep underdogs in games and has on occasion. Although the last time we saw the Cowboys, it was that night game where they covered against the Chargers for me. That was nice of them. So what do you think? What do you think these Rams, who have explosive plays on offense, but then a lot of not so smart plays on offense and a defense that I don't think is good at all, they're 6.5 point underdogs. What do you think?
Wow. Yeah. No, my brain just exploded a little bit with that comparison because it's so apt. Like, I never thought of these two things together. Nobody was convinced at all. Like, at least, like, I think I paid too much attention to Dallas Cowboys Twitter, You know, because like,
well, they're your enemy, to be fair.
No, what I'm saying is like this build up that like Brandon Cooks. I haven't had Brandon Cooks on some of my fantasy teams this year. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And like after the first 3 weeks, I was like, no, come on, it's Brandon Cooks. He's always Brandon Cooks. And then at some point, I realized like he's like 12 years into his career, even at 30. Yeah. My point being, yeah, like you're right. It is a one-man show, and it is more isolated than I thought. My point is, I'm taking the points. Like I just.
So it's the Rams. So you're taking the Rams, okay? And I had it at 7, so I'm on the Cowboys. But again, it's one of these damn half pointers where I just feel dirty about it, and I do feel like the Cowboys are kind of built to let the other team cover a little bit. I think we think they win, right? It's not inconceivable that the Rams would win, but I think we like the Cowboys in general, mainly because I think the Ram defense at this point. Is there anybody really hanging on to the idea the Rams defense is good?
But also like the Bills, there's no Leighton Vander Esch, right? So that's their Matt Milano. And they don't have Tre'Davious White on Dallas, which is like that's their loss of Diggs. What I mean is like, yes, you're right. There isn't anything I'm scared of besides Aaron Donald on defense. But also there is a gap between.
You're making a good case. You're making a good case that maybe I should be on the Rams, but by God, I'm not. We've got the Vikings coming off one of the biggest upsets of the year, although not one of the biggest upsets of the week because of the same week where the Patriots beat the Bills. But yeah, I don't, it was 2 home teams, pretty significant dogs to, supposed juggernauts, and the Vikings kind of put the Niners over their knee a little bit. They go to Green Bay, who've looked awful. And it's a difficult place to play. I don't know. Did you find a line of 1 point as a Viking favorite? Did you find that to be sort of a smelly line a little bit?
It felt a little smelly. It did. You also said awful so many times. I started thinking about falafel. You're like awful falafel. I was like falafel. I like falafel, but I really don't trust the Packers. I was on the Packers earlier this year. I was wrong. This whole defense thing, right?
Right.
My main thing I want to look at is like, we talk about explosive plays on offense. That's like an indicator of like how can you inflict pain on a defense. Yeah. They don't have explosive plays on defense. No splash plays. They went to Denver and had 1 sack with no turnovers. What? That's like going to Denver and having 1 vape pen. Not going to happen. Okay? Okay. Not cool. Okay. Not
Double good. Reverse Not lock of the week. Double reverse lock of the week is the Packers win this stupid game. I have no real reason to think so other than it's Kirk Cousins and it's going to Lambeau and it's the moment
he's happy. Yes.
Right. It's the moment everyone has decided finally Kirk Cousins has arrived. Yeah, he's arrived, man. He's arrived, and
I didn't read that part.
Jordan Love is garbage, and and
Jordan
this
hate.
I don't have a real football take here. I think Minnesota's roster is just better.
Could you? They're both bad.
Well, I don't know. Minnesota, I think now, the fact that Minnesota's favored on the road at Lambeau means they're not considered
Well, they also
bad.
just put up like 600 yards on the 49ers, which is cool.
Which is what I'm saying. That's probably why they're not considered bad. But and I don't think they're really bad. And I look at the rosters and I look at how Green Bay's played, and I said, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that Minnesota be favored. And that's why this one smelled so bad that I went, you know what?
Yeah. It's too funky. Yeah, it's too funky. Yeah,
somebody knows something, and I don't want to mess around after going 3-8 last week. I'm going to believe this somebody. Yeah. But you're on Minnesota, I take it.
I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah. It's so funky that I like it though too. It's almost like, I like kimchi. It's like, this is your kimchi pick of the week.
Little pickled ginger. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not gonna hurt anybody.
All right. Well, we got the Falcons. They are somehow a road favorite, but I understand how. It's because they're going to Tennessee, and Tennessee apparently, as of our recording this, they're making noise about both quarterbacks playing, neither of them being Ryan Tannehill. He's going to be out. So Will Levis, it sounds like, is the main guy, and then there's maybe a little Malik Willis to run every so often. I don't know. It seems like when you put the Malik Willis in, they're going to know that you're going to run. That's how you get this Falcons team who, they just won on the road, division rival. They've been right down the middle. They're solid. They're exactly the 16th best team in the league. That's exactly what they are.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect. They're the perfect median.
Infinite 8-8 team or 8-9. Right. We can't use 8-8 anymore. They've ruined that. But
for the Falcons, we'll make an exception. They're an 8-8 team. Forget it.
Just give a game.
Right.
Like Arthur Smith.
Of course, that means they're not terrible. Like they're exactly average. They're not terrible, but it's tough to want to for me to want to back them. I don't know. Like, this is essentially a pick game. Like, you're trying to pick a winner here. And Arthur Smith homecoming revenge game. What's he revenging? He did really well there. I don't know. He's not revenging anything. But
they're going to trade vests. Did you hear that? They're going to trade vests. The coaches. They're going to trade vests.
That's very sweet.
And I also think that I guess Vrabel's bigger than him. I just feel like both. Like, I don't know how that's going to fit. So I just want to know.
It's going to be a very big vest on Arthur and
exactly.
It'll be very tight. So are you okay? Like, I'll ask you the same question here. What's the best unit in this game?
The Atlanta offense.
Really?
Yeah, they punch you in the face. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they didn't do a great job face punching last week. I don't know. That
was wrong. I think I'm wrong.
I mean, like, because Bijan didn't play,
I don't think it's Tennessee defense in the wake of what they did. It's definitely not the Tennessee offense, and it's not the. I'm choosing.
I was maybe going to say Atlanta's defense. I think Atlanta's defense has turned out, especially against the run, to be very, very good.
Okay.
Yeah. And in some ways, I could.
They sell out. They sell out. Yeah.
I could kind of understand, what Tennessee wants to do. It kind of matches well to what Atlanta's defense wants to do.
Like talent-wise, I get it that we have this. It's frustrating, but I just feel like they, like, for example, like the value, like EPA can be terrible, but like the value of like a Falcons run is still pretty approximate to, like, it's probably better. I would bet that it's better than the drop back from the Titans, just a straight up run from the Falcons. So they're just better at punching. It's almost like Lennox Lewis, and that's a bad analogy, but I mean, like, a great jabber. Like, styles make fights. It's not pretty. Or Tyson Fury, to be modern. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun to watch a big fat guy punch you in the face, but it's gonna hurt you.
Trademark Jim McCormick 2023. I'm just skeptical that Atlanta's ready to be that team that should be favored on the road for these things.
Aren't they Tennessee? Aren't they what Tennessee used to be?
Yeah, well, they're the same offensive coordinator, right? Obviously. So it sounds like we're on different sides here too. You're on Atlanta? Yeah,
I am. I kind of like this because I like
the line is 3, by the way. Yeah, the line's 3. It's Atlanta being a 3-point road favorite. That isn't how
Young Hoku just did a backflip. So just want to let you know.
It ain't how I was brought up, Jim. It just ain't how I was brought up.
Oh, first of all, can we wait? Bring up more accents. What was the other accent you did before? What was it?
I got a lot of them. I got to bring them out. They have to come organically, man. They got a lot of them.
Come on. What was the one that he said before that was so great? What was it? The one that he did the voice?
I don't know what you mean.
Oi!
Oi! I mean, I'm really Ange Postecoglou is my new soccer coach because I root for Tottenham, and now I'm going to get a lot of Arsenal hate comments down in the comments. But I'm
no.
I like working on the Aussie accent, man, because that's how he gives his. It's how he gives his press conferences, right?
This would be like if I tried to straighten you like the Toronto Raptors roster. You know what I mean? I was like,
they all just speak American, though.
Are you frustrated? Are you frustrated that Gary Trent's not starting? So go ahead.
All right, we'll move on. We'll go with Patriots. And here's me changing my tune after 1 week because I'm a fraud. Fraud.
He's back in.
I've been out all year. To be fair, I've been picking against them all year. But I am back in here. It's not like I think they're going to win it. Here's what I saw. I'll just tell you what I saw. I said this in the podcast. Strange, the guard comes back, right? And that makes a difference. And then they move Mike Onwenu, who'd been playing badly at guard, to right tackle.
It does.
And suddenly, I mean, they came out in that game with 3-step drops. They came out with fast passes to Pop Douglas, fast passes. Like, that's how they came out in that game.
84% completion percentage, yeah.
Lo and behold, though, as the game went on, Mac Jones was like, they're not hitting me. Something's wrong here. I'm not being destroyed.
I feel good.
Yeah. And suddenly they started passing the ball down the field, and that's how Kendrick Bourne stuff happened, and that's how the drive at the end of the game happened. I think the whole thing flows from that. And so, I remember how the Patriots defensively played against the Dolphins in week 2. Do you remember that alignment? 3 safeties? Remember that? Yeah.
Everything. Hill had like 54 yards and 1 touchdown. Right. And that was like a win, which it was. Yeah.
Right. So they're going to do that again on defense. And then on offense, I think they're going to be able to protect Jones enough to make this at least a game, not a 70-10 whatever Broncos. I don't think it's a track meet for Miami here.
Yeah.
How about
What's the line again? Remind me.
The line is 9.5.
That's too many. Yeah.
Did I talk you into it? Oh my God, I'm talking you into a bad decision.
I had a 10, so I'm just gonna take the Dolphins with that.
All right.
But I don't feel good about it because I agree with you. I more importantly agree with you with the idea that like the subtle shifts of an offensive line are hard to read. You know what I mean? Like 1-1 because like we think like one player misses or two players but it's huge. And like also I've talked to not just you but several of my buddies from Boston who are like, you don't understand how bad this offensive line is. Like they are like it's literally like a free rush. Like several of my friends were like, it's not even great pass rushers that are winning. It's just dudes. So
the breaking news here is that you have other friends from Boston.
I mean,
I feel like that's a betrayal here, Jim. I don't know what we're doing here.
I spent a summer at Boston U at the ITRP camp. That was in 1997, and I still know people. So look at me being old. So,
a lot of people have friends from summer camp when they were, 8 and 10 or whatever. And like, I feel like I missed out.
It was the Howard Stern radio camp. And I was like, this seems inappropriate. Let's do it.
Wow. All right, then. We learned a lot about why Jim is the way he is. All right, let's move along. Saints, Colts. This is known as the Super Bowl. What was this? 2008? 2008, right? I think it was a 2008 Super Bowl, Saints Colts. As a guess, tell me down in the comments I'm an idiot. That'd be great. The Saints, boy, oh boy, man. I mean, the Colts are what they are. They don't have the stud young quarterback. They kind of, I feel like we get what the Colts are. Oh my God, with the Saints. Everybody got to see it finally, Jim. Finally, people who might have been doubting what I was saying on the show every week, on the podcast every week, finally got to see what Derek Carr actually looks like now. And it is the rotted husk of a pirate vessel. It is bad.
Wow, that is wow. You beat me to the punch. I was going to say something not as cool as that. I was going to say that he's like, he looks like the little brother of a bar owner that Gordon Ramsay screams at.
Oh, so he's not even the guy getting screamed at.
Exactly. He's the other guy who's like, no. He's like David Carr is who gets screamed at. David Carr's the first guy who took 90 sacks, and then Derek Carr comes in and is like, nah, man, my mom she wanted us to run this bar with pride. And then they all have like neck tattoos that are like, either way, here's the point.
The Colts are Colts are only a 1.5 favorite, which I feel like it should be more. You?
No.
Really?
No. So this is going to be a Jim McCrew special where I discuss the rotting corpse of Derek Carr, and I also take his rotting corpse. Like, here's my favorite stat that I've never, ever thought that would happen. Okay. The last two games, the most pass attempts in Saints history are Derek Carr. Drew Brees was there.
They're all 1-yard passes.
Yeah. So my favorite thing about Derek Carr is it's either 1 yard or 70 yards. And the 70 yards are 17 yards outside. Like, a fan gets a ball every third pass. Like,
how are you getting mad at Chris Olave for stopping on your route when you throw it 60 yards wrong?
My favorite part is Mike Thomas comes in on Twitter and explaining that is
he's right. Yeah, he should really run. That's Well, this is the switcheroo. This is the McCormick switcheroo. We haven't gotten too many of these this year because you're not going to say too many nice things about the Saints, but you're still going to pick them.
I don't know why, but I am. I'm out of it. Actually, I do know why. I do know why. I love the secondary. I think they still matter, and I just think they tamped this thing down.
I mean, I don't want to. I thought you were going to be on the Colts because the way you were talking. I did it -2, and as of our recording, it's -1.5. So there's another one where I don't feel.
He's 8 turnovers in the last 2 games, which is hard to do. So
yeah, but 2 rushing touchdowns last week. He's great for my fantasy team. I actually had to use him in a superflex league. I had to. Burrow was on bye.
You're like, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the battle of the 2 rookie quarterbacks. It's Houston, who are functional, going to Carolina, who are, what's the word? Not functional. And the again, I mean, it's rough, man. It's rough having to back
shift, right? Isn't that the idea? Like with Carolina,
it's rough having to back young teams, like who don't really know how to win, as favorites on the road. That is not a winning formula, but that's what you have to do here if you like Houston. It's Texans -3 in Carolina.
I feel like this is like this is just very like high school, middle school dancey, this whole thing, right? It's like, I really wish I made a mistake. And I wish I asked Brenda to go to the dance, right? like, I'm all in on Houston here. Like, one, they have a competent philosophy on both sides. Like,
they do. It's conservative. They're conservative. They're sticking to it.
They stick to their guns, whereas in Carolina, they're still trying to figure it out. I mean, look, everybody can continue the love affair with Thielen. Congratulations to all of you who did that. Like, all those, like,
again, yeah, all these 5-yard passes.
All those 7-yard outs. Like, good luck with
exactly.
that. Beautiful. Yeah. It's going to have, like, I still continue. I project for ESPN every week. I can't wait for the T.J. Hawkinson 121 catch, 800-yard season. But, like, that's what we're pacing for with these guys. But my point is, they have a philosophy. They don't have anybody special, but Carolina doesn't either. Like, Brian Burns is not being flexed out, and I think the coaching gap is real, and more philosophical gap is what is the better way to say it. So
I can't believe you would ever say that about Frank Reich. I can't believe it. Traitor.
Did you hear there's new whispers coming out that Frank Reich didn't even want Bryce Young? Weird how you took that job and hired everybody for $20 million. Interesting.
Yeah, it's so strange. It's funny how that leaks out after it looks like it was a bad call.
It's like when the Sixers took Markelle Fultz. They were like, we wanted Jason Tatum. Interesting.
Seems like you were the ones who had control over that.
A little bit late.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to be on nobody. I'm pushing this game. This is my other one. This is my other push. I'm not anybody.
Dave, I will Venmo you. Make him disappear. Like, zoop him down.
All right. We are on to late games, and we've got the Browns coming off a can a poop-colored team have a poop-stained win? Because that was a poop-stained win in Indianapolis. It was a very bad performance by the Browns, and the defense. I mean, the defense is the best defense in football, and you can argue that like they were put in bad position. They were put in 39-38, right? They were.
That's like a score emoji almost. Like, who scores those points? What a weird score.
Yeah, scoregami.
I said score emoji as if it was like
score emoji's not right. Yeah. Hey, Dave, if you could put a score emoji over Jim's head, that would be great. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, that defensive effort, like you can certainly argue that both quarterbacks put them in terrible positions, that you had defensive touchdowns, the whole thing. They're not the ones who give up that many yards and that many big plays and failed to tackle Michael Pittman and failed to tackle Josh Downs and didn't play after offsides, right? And let them have a long pass. So it was a very, very bad effort. So it was a poop-covered win for a poop-colored team. They're going to Seattle. Seattle did their business. Like we thought that they would kind of let down a little bit looking at the Cardinals, and Geno Smith played really well. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the market kind of agrees because Cleveland is a little bit of a darling after being the 49ers and figuring out a way to win with 2 ridiculous calls in the end zone last week. But yet Seattle's still a 3.5-point favorite at home.
Yeah, I'm taking the points. I still trust this Cleveland defense. I know that you're right. They had all sorts of issues. They also Myles Garrett is he's just crazy. He's crazy. Also,
you like the block field goal? That was okay, where he hurdled men.
I forget it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I copy and pasted something from ESPN, and I was like, he had 7 blocks and 6 these, and that was the best thing ever.
Not true.
No,
not true.
No. I've done that before. But here's the thing. My real thing is that Geno Smith is like the play action king, right? And this team, Cleveland, is just not the team to play action against. They get to you quick, and Myles Garrett
don't turn your back on them.
He doesn't really care about play action. No one's telling him to look back. So I just don't think it's a good play action team. They are a set you up and make you miss team. Not a good magic trick for these guys. I just will take the points. I think it's gonna be mucky. and you've said this before. I haven't offered this many times. I love the under in this game. I think it's going to be mucky and weird, like 17-14 weird. So yeah.
Okay. I only had it as a half point different, but I'm on the
Yeah.
same side as you. I also
Yeah.
picked Cleveland. I don't
Great,
feel
so
super
yeah.
strongly about
Yeah.
it, but like even if it's Seattle by a field goal, I feel like that's probably what the kind of game that it is. All right, so we did squeeze under the wire the fact that as of our recording this, it seems like there's a chance Brock Purdy won't play for the 49ers. This is older news to the people watching this, but it's fairly new news to us. And so the line has moved a couple of points. The Niners are taking on Cincinnati, potentially taking them over as well. I hear that Mike Brown would sell them for like a used fedora. The Niners, now that line moved from, I think it was 5.5. And as soon as that line came out, it changed to 3.5. And this to me, which Niners Bengals Super Bowl is this to you? Is it the Ken Anderson, Chris Collingwood? No, Chris Collingsworth. Collingwood, different guy. Or is it the Boomer Esiason, Icky Woods? Which one? Which one?
It has to be Boomer Esiason only because of Sam Darnold's Justin Bieber hairstyle, like where he just
kind of 80s.
He refuses to like. He's a Halloween character trying to be in the middle of like Saved by the Bell. So,
and he's seeing ghosts.
And he's not going to be Saved by the Bell. So
that's what that's a callback. What I just did there, that's comedy right there.
I just want to say that Dave threw a ghost digitally. Okay, thank you.
So tell me what's wrong with the Niners. Tell me why these past 2 weeks. I mean, it was easy to write off the offensive problems because of the weather. Let me ask the question, and then you can start talking. The weather was bad, right, for that one game, for the Cleveland game. No excuse for the weather in Minnesota. They gave up 7 million yards and on offense looked totally discombobulated.
They did.
Surely you're not going to tell me it's Deebo Samuel.
No, it's not. It's not Deebo Samuel. It's not. So you're asking like why the Niners offense didn't look good or why the Niners defense didn't look good?
I mean, you could, dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. Oh, so the defense I don't think looked good because the Eagles.
Glad you picked that since you didn't have an answer.
No, I do have an answer. Okay. I think they rely so much on getting home on 4-man rushes, and they refuse to like send aggressive moments. And I want to bring it up, and it's happening with the Eagles, and no one wants to talk about it. But there's a brain drain going on there. They lost their offensive coordinator last year. They lost their defensive coordinator last year. Everybody's talked about that with the Eagles, and it has shown up in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the Eagles. I think the Niners are missing D'Amico Ryans. So, I think they're missing schematic wins. Javon Hargrave's great, but have you ever noticed how you double team Joey Bosa and then Nick Bosa? Joey Bosa needs a single team. Things look better. I guess my main point is that the juice is not as loose with that defense. Also, let's be honest. Did you notice that when Hawkinson hurt Warner, it changed everything? It's almost like what I was mentioning with Dallas. When you lose 2 impact defenders, it's a top-heavy league. We think of this league as an 11-man league. It's not. It's a star-driven league. And what I'm trying to say is I don't think San Francisco has the same firepower they had, which is kind of natural, but also I'm a little bit concerned about that team. I am.
Okay. I had Cincinnati in this game before, and I still have Cincinnati. I think they're the right side here. And Sam Darnold has something to do with it for sure. It's gonna be a lot of Christian McCaffrey though. I actually don't worry about their offense that much.
No, it's gonna be a defense that I'm worried about.
Yeah, a lot of Christian McCaffrey. But right, if I were to try to talk about why I think the 49er offense has scuffled a little bit, I think the offensive line has been good but not great, and any pressure that gets on a quarterback, especially a young quarterback without a big arm, with great mobility, it just speeds everything up. And the one thing I will say about,
haven't you? I've heard worse than that. I've heard they've been leaky, but I don't know that. But have you seen that in tape?
I think the symptoms of Brock Purdy are being sped up. He looks like he's sped up. That's the point I was trying to get out. So we're both on Cincinnati. 3.5. We got the Chiefs are rematching a game that we had to watch on Thursday night 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we got Chiefs Broncos, and we were both on the. Well, I was on the Broncos. You might not have been, and it was the right side, by God. And they, in the end, just were too stupid to cover. It was very close. The Chiefs are in Denver. This is as fast a rematch as you're going to get in the NFL. And the last time we saw this, the Chiefs had a hard time moving against Denver. It was weird, but they did. And I wonder if you think that could happen again.
I don't. The spread again, like just to.
I mean, I'm just asking the football side of it.
So the football side of it is that I think that the Chiefs might have like a top 3 defense.
Okay. And what I asked you was the Chiefs offense last time we saw this had a hard time closing the deal. Remember, they kept getting in the red zone and kept kicking field goals out.
I think they've figured more things out since then. I think
in a week and a half.
Yes, because a week and a half ago we were dealing with an ankle sprain, Kelsey, who looks way better since then, and whatever Taylor Swift rubbed on his ankle, good job. I also think that Rashee Rice, even in those 2 weeks, has actually shown up.
It's 1 week. It's 1 week.
Well,
we just played two weeks ago.
But like the NFL is like only like so many weeks, so it's like it's like you're asking me like pick what song from Thriller I like the most. There's only 10 songs. All right, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I get it, you're setting me up, but like at the same time, I do think there's progression, and more importantly, I think they just know who they are right now. They're not the juggernaut that's going to blow you out and destroy you, but they are the team that's going to muffle you and hold you down. They have a different style. They're much more 2000, like, to use an Eagles reference for anybody, they're much more early read than late read with Eagles, which was defense, smother. Like, McNabb scores 27 points, 24 points, and smothers.
All right. We're off on another team now. But
no, but I mean, like, I think the style.
I think they haven't figured it out offensively. I think there's a really good chance that if the Broncos cover here, it's because the Chiefs kick a lot of field goals. Like, I don't think they've figured it out. I think you get them in the red zone, and they kind of don't have a lot of options if you double Kelsey. You know, you remember the Chargers did this too for the first half, and then they realized it was stupid. But the Broncos the entire game let Travis Kelsey
run free.
Be in the middle of the field, do whatever he wanted until they got to the 20, and then they said, "Okay, we're doubling you. What else you got?" And they didn't have anything. So if there's a path here, that's the path. But I agree with you. The Chiefs defense is too good. And if I was betting this game, I would be betting Chiefs -7. We've got the Ravens going to Arizona. Arizona, multiply over the course of the season, we've each tried to talk ourselves into some bets in Arizona. They have the 5th most time leading a game. If you add up all the minutes leading a game in the first half,
what is that?
They're number 5 in the league.
What is that?
And they're 1-6 because they keep getting. So like, we always feel like we're on the right side of these things, and they were leading against Seattle 10-7, and then disaster strikes. So the Ravens are coming off, like, they're never going to be more inflated than they are this week because they're coming off an absolute disembowelment of the Lions, and it is Ravens are an 8-point favorite.
And Dave, he waited for poop collar for your team. I just want to make that clear. Okay, so I'm so inconsistent, which is me. I am gonna go with the Ravens here because I feel like they figured something out. Like, I feel like, first of all, obviously Mark Andrews watches the show. He follows Twitter. Like, he's not scripted anymore.
I mean, you would probably agree that the market also thinks that they figured something out, because having them as an 8-point favorite on the road is huge.
But here's the also thing. I said also thing. Here's the other thing. I can remember, like, it's a flashback. Almost same exact line. I think it was 7.5. Am I crazy? Or was it 6.5 when the Giants were this same position on the road in?
It wasn't that much. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that high.
It was 6.5. Yeah. Like, look it up, Dave. Look it up.
Okay.
It was big. It was big. It was definitely over 6. Okay. And it was like, whoa. And
5.5. 5.5. We're told. Little voice in my ear.
A genius. See, for some reason, I think other people are going to hear what we're saying, which is just crazy. Not how shows work. Like, it's not how shows work, guys. It's not how shows work. But the point is, you were like waving your hands, inflatable fan, and you were right. I think this is the other side of that, where it's like, this might be a 9.5, 10-point line. I said this at 9 myself. My point is this. They look dominant. I get I'm reacting to this one. That's not even just what I'm reacting to. That offensive line, we just talked about the Patriots. They made one shift. They got health back on the right side last week, and it made such a difference. They look so ready to just roll on you. They feel Eaglesy to me in a good way. Boom.
So I'm on the same side as you are. It's a half point for me, but or no, it's a full point. I had it 7.
Yeah.
But I'm on the same side. But I will say, it feels like you're chasing the previous week's result.
Yeah.
You meaning you, the general you, not you.
It's like a tight end touchdown. Yes.
I was so wrong. Yeah, I was so wrong about the Lions going to Baltimore and being the superior team that I'm going to turn around.
Exactly.
Praise the Ravens, and it's dangerous. It's not usually how things work. However, in this case, I am on the same side as you. We have 2 more games to get to. We have the Sunday night game, which stinks, and then we have the Monday night game, which stinks. The 2 teams that played the backup quarterback bowl against each other last week are involved in 2 national TV games, which is not great. Tyson Bagent is likely to start again against the Chargers here in Los Angeles. The only thing going for the Bears, once again, will be a predominant of the crowd. You'll get some nice yelling for Bears fans for as long as it's a game. The Chargers kind of embarrassed themselves in Kansas City. I was very angry with the defensive game plan.
Yeah.
And I'm especially made more angry. It's the Kelsey thing I referred to earlier.
Sure.
I'm made more angry by the fact that they flipped a switch at late second quarter, and suddenly everything was different, and the Chiefs couldn't move it anymore because they decided to cover Travis Kelsey. It's just like,
weird how that works. Yeah.
You're defensive genius, Pete Buttigieg. Like, what's your deal? So I mean that just ticked me off. I don't have a dog in that hunt.
If anyone knows how to stop a train, but you know what I mean.
Exactly. So anyway, the Bears not very good, and the Chargers have a much better roster. And Khalil Mack, it's a revenge game. The Chargers are 8.5-point favorite at home. Are you digging that? Are you buying that kind of spread?
That's too many. I mean, I had this 7.5. I'm just gonna go based on my first line.
I did an 8, buddy. I did an 8.
It's just too many. It just feels weird. But like, the Bears aren't good. But either like, what is this? What is? I don't care about syntax. What is the Chargers? Okay, that's what I'm saying. What is that?
What is the Chargers? Yeah. So there's an argument that says the Chargers can score 45 here and make it all immaterial, right? And they can. Sure, I've seen it. They definitely have it in them.
The Bears can score 43. So.
Yeah, no, they're not going to score 43.
I know.
If the Chargers go 45, which they can, then we're wrong about this game, and we accept it because I'm a 0.5 point off the lines.
They give them mucky, don't they? Don't they muck it?
Who, the Bears? Not early in the season.
No, the Chargers seem like they invite your style is what I'm trying to say. They play your style as opposed to their style. They don't set the tone.
I guess I would say the argument against what we're talking about here is that for 2 weeks in a row, very unexpectedly to me, Tony Pollard and Isaiah Pacheco have essentially run into a brick wall. Suddenly the Chargers decided they can stop the run. Obviously couldn't stop Kelsey, couldn't stop the pass against the Cowboys either. There's a path there for the Bears to score points, but the bottom line is if the Chargers offense is what it's supposed to be, that's why the spread is what it is. That's they will cover, but I fear the Chargeriness of it all just as much as you do, so I'm also on the Bears side of things here.
Who's the third best skill player on the Chargers? It's like Josh Palmer. Who is it? Like
what do you mean? Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen?
Yeah, who's the third best? I'm saying.
Other teams were mad at the second. I'm not too mad when you're.
I suppose what I'm saying is that like it's not mythology, but like I just feel like we talked about the Bills and their lack of stacking.
They lack a second one. I'm okay with teams that have 2.
Yeah.
Like if the quarterback's really good and you give him 2 legit really good weapons, you can win a Super Bowl that way. That's fine.
Eagles are. I get it. Yeah.
My problem is 1. My problem is 1. All right, so then we have Monday night, and it's the other team that played very, very bad. Brian Hoyer in that game. Oh, he really wasn't very good, and it seems at this point like Jimmy Garoppolo will play Monday night. We don't know for sure. Yeah. They are traveling to Detroit, and the Lions. let's just say that Jared Goff, he wishes he was wearing a Cleveland Brown uniform last week because it was not a good performance. And really everything that every paint by numbers analyst gives us about how Jared Goff, when he's outside, when there's a little bit of wind, it all happened. But
he doesn't know how to wear a jacket, is what it is. He doesn't have a jacket. He goes to school with a jacket. I'm a third grade teacher. He's the kid who comes in and like, it's cold. It's like, wear a jacket, Jared.
It's a heavy spread, and it's got a chance to be out of control. The Lions are an 8-point favorite, and
I can't do it.
And you can easily find a way for the Lion defense to suddenly not earn your trust after that last week. But boy, are the Raiders really the team to punish them?
No, but I also wonder, like, anybody from Detroit who gets to spend a week, like even 2 days in Las Vegas. It's in Vegas, right? Right? Is that what we're saying?
No, it's in Detroit.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay, so I'm taking the points. Yeah, I'm gonna give the points. Yeah, I thought it was in Vegas. No way.
I'm very, very confused about.
Okay,
you
so
just said you're going to take and give.
Dave. Let me explain this. I'll explain it to you too. My theory was that I
don't care about the theory. What's your pick?
I am taking the Lions. I'm giving the points because this team is terrible. That Raiders team is so bad. Josh McDaniels is texting his wife saying, "Where do you want to move to?"
Like with Garoppolo, I do think this line's right with Garoppolo because he's not good. His big problem is he gets hurt, but when he's healthy, he keeps the trains running on time. Like there's a world where this stays closed for a while, but I'm on the Lions here. And if it turns out that Garoppolo's not playing this, there's no spread big enough. You tell me it's 20, I go, Lions. Brian Hoyer.
Wait. Can I just say that the Raiders make up backup quarterbacks sometimes? They'll be like, it's Aiden O'Connell, it's Liam McDermott. It's like, are these actors Madden. They're like CSI actors. I don't get this.
Yeah. Madden build a player. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so now we got to pick a best bet. Last week was a disaster, so maybe don't believe us. But do you have a best bet picked out?
I do. It's going to be the Eagles. I think they destroy this Commanders team. I mean, listen, they're on the David Carr track of success, which is like never good. He's a handsome, almost gorgeous man, but he wore 2 white gloves for the Carolina Panthers, and so does Kenny Pickett. Thus, let's ride.
What?
I know.
Many of those players are not involved in the Eagles Commanders
game.
Dave,
put white gloves on Chris. Thank you.
White gloves on me. There you go. Yeah. All right. So I got to pick a best bet, and I'm gonna say Browns. I'll take the 3.5 and make Dave squirm. That's what my goal is, just basically to make Dave squirm. We're all not going to have Dave here producing next week. He won't be the one talking in our ears.
I still don't get that.
So I feel it because Dave is having a child next week, not him personally, but that's why he will not be around to produce. So let's send him off with a good one and totally curse the Browns. At plus 3.5 in that game.
Colors, the PCs,
the poop colors. And we want to know what you think down in the comments. Tell us. Don't we have thousands of people watching. Everybody watching. If you got this far, I mean, granted, it's a long way, but it's a fun podcast. We preview the whole 16 games. Like that's a lot. Tell us down in the comments what your favorite line of the week is. We would love to know. We'll shout out somebody at the beginning of tomorrow's show. Even if you don't want to pick it, just leave a comment. We give you a lot of material. Yeah. Believe me, I know. You can just give it to me. I can take it. And then say nice things about Jim and Dave because they deserve it. That's going to do it. We made it through for week 8. Dave, we love you, and we hope everything goes great. We know it will.
Yes, we do.
And Jim, I love you too, and thanks for doing this. And all of you viewers, we appreciate you very much. Again, if you want to throw us a bone a little bit, support DraftKings. Use that code HarrisTube when you do it. For Dave, for the newly born child who's coming very soon.
Kitna. It's after John Kitna. They're gonna name it Kitna.
It's Kitna Pyper.
Kitna Pyper.
For Dave Pyper, for Kitna Pyper, and for Jim McCormick, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.